We want to preview some of the contested legislative races in the Minot area. First off, we're looking at the three candidates running for two open spots in the House for District 38. Dan Ruby is the lone incumbent in the race. He's served in the House as a Republican since 2001. Ruby is a standing member on the Industry, Business and Labor Committee. He's also served as chairman of the Transportation Committee. Ruby is a Minot area businessman who's president and CEO of both Circle Sanitation and the Noonan Landfill. Christina Wolff is the other endorsed candidate from the Republicans for District 38. Wolff would be a newcomer to elected office, but has served as secretary for D38 Republicans for the past 3 years. She's owned a business in Minot since 2011 and served as executive director for a nonprofit for the past decade. Wolff has also served as president of North Central Women of Minot for 2 years. Lisa Hermosillo is running for the Democratic NPL. She grew up on a third-generation family farm and has been involved in the military community for the past 11 years. Hermosillo has worked to bring awareness to mental health issues and founded Talk United Minot, which aims to provide connections and support to airmen, veterans, and the community. Now, Joanne Rademacher is currently serving as an interim representative for Larry Ballou, who retired from the legislature at the end of last year. Republican Senator David Hogue, the Senate Majority Leader, is running unopposed for re-election. Tomorrow we'll feature the candidates running for the House for District 40.